What is up guys, Jav here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in our video today we're taking a look at this week at Bungie. They've launched the latest update for this week, so we're going to go through each and every section and break that down in full. So if you want to find out some of the changes coming in Season 11, then this is the video for you. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are new around here, I want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. So this week's update kicks off with the Hotfix 2.8.1.3 that was released earlier today to fix the Lie quest. This update is now shipped across all platforms, so if you haven't jumped in and got your Fellwinter's Lie, be sure to do so before the end of the season. Now from here, Bungie go on to talk about some of the changes that are coming in Season 11 to the way that the World Loot Pool works. Now the World Loot Pool serves as a baseline of legendary gear that can be earned across different activities, and they want to update and refresh that seasonally with meta-relevant weapons, some of which were previously exclusive to specific activities such as Gambit or the Crucible. So starting in Season 11, it will be curated both for relevance and overall size to strike the balance between the number of rewards and a chance to get a sought after drop. And every season gear from the previous seasons will be added, and any gear that would no longer have a max power level greater than or equal to the current season cap will be cycled out to ensure that drops are power relevant for the current season. Now the world pool for Season 11 will consist of all the following weapons that you can see here on screen. So if you still need a weapon or a weapon role from the current Vanguard, Crucible or Gambit playlist that isn't in the list that you can see here, then be sure to go grab that as soon as you can. So alongside some of the changes to the World Loot Pool, they've also identified some changes to the Destiny 2 sandbox. And this week, they're focusing on weapons and specifically some perks that they're tuning. And here's a quick breakdown of what the team have to say. We've observed that players lean towards picking perks that increase their damage, for example kill clip, or reduce their damage downtime with things like Outlaw. Now damage perks were adjusted a while back, but reload perks still don't feel like choices, and this tuning pass aims to keep them feeling powerful without being so dominant that no other choices seem viable. Before we get into detail, first some information on the stats that impact reload. So the reload stat 0 to 100 and maps onto the archetype specific reload animation speed. There's also reload duration scale, where most reload perks also apply a small multiplier to the reload animation, so that if a reload stat is capped, you will still see a small bump in reload speed. There's also reload empty duration scale. This only applies if the magazine is empty. So with that in mind, let's take a look at some of the perks they're adjusting. So Outlaw has been slowed down a little bit, so the reload stat has gone from plus 100 to plus 50, so half the speed, and the reload duration scale has been adjusted from 0.8 to 0.9. They've also made adjustments to Feeding Frenzy. This was strictly better than Outlaw, so they've changed the functionality based on the number of rapid kills. This stacks up to 5 times. With 2 kills, the reload speed is equal to the updated Outlaw perk. With 3 kills, it's faster than Outlaw. With 4 kills, it's the fastest reload in the game, with the exception of Alloy Mag, and the max possible reload duration scale has gone from 0.83 to 0.8, and the max possible reload stat is unchanged at plus 100. With Rapid Hit, they gave a huge amount of reload and stability for very little work. It was front loaded onto the first precision hit, and that's been updated so that it still feels good, but it isn't quite as powerful. So it's been adjusted so it has a stacking bonus to give it less benefit for the first hit and more for subsequent hits. So the max possible reload stat is gone from plus 100 to plus 60. Max possible reload duration scale has been adjusted from 0.8 to 0.8925, and the maximum possible stability stat has been adjusted from plus 50 to plus 25. Drop Mag has also seen some adjustments, situationally really powerful without a massive drawback, as good as a perk but in a magazine column. The reload duration scale for this has been adjusted from 0.85 to 0.9, and that just brings that in line with Outlaw itself. Field Prep remains unchanged, but for reference the reload stat is plus 50 and the reload duration scale is 0.8. Alloy Mag is also unchanged, but for reference the reload empty duration scale is currently 0.66 recurring. Additionally, they're also fixing an issue where perks that grant partial weapon ammo do not respect shot count for burst weapons, and this means that these perks will now work correctly with pulse rifles, fusion rifles and burst sidearms. So these perks will be more common on those weapon archetypes in future, and you can see a list of those right here. So all in all, some interesting changes coming to some of the reload perks that we've come to love over the last couple of seasons, but be sure to let me know your thoughts on some of the changes in the comment section down below. From here, they move on to some general perk tuning, and with opening up the space by adjusting the reload perks, it's also allowed them to retune some other underused perks based on their internal testing and some of the perk popularity from their effectiveness data from some of their internal analytics. Now, some of this includes things like dynamic sway reduction. This currently adds 10 stability over time in addition to accuracy, and that's a lot more powerful than it sounds. And this has been retuned to reduce reticle movement from stability, which should now tell players that this is working. Pulse monitor has also been retuned to take critical damage, and you can quickly switch to your now fully reloaded shotgun. Reload amount has been changed from 0.35 to 1. Handling has seen a plus 50 increase, and there's also a 5% faster swap speed as well. This also works on stowed weapons too, which is already the case but makes it a lot more useful. Hipfire grip now helps you hit closer to ADS ranges, still doesn't affect damage drop off or magnetism, so it's got a 1.2 times aim assist fall off, a plus 15 to its aim assist, and a plus 1.7 degrees precision hit angle threshold. So by default, when firing a hipfire weapon, the center of your reticle must be over the target in order to get a crit, otherwise aim assist will give you a body shot. This change gives you a little leniency, so if the center of your reticle is not directly over your target, you will still get the crit if you're within the angle. And this has no effect on sniper rifles. Sneak bow has also been retuned. It actually makes you sneaky now, so this now means you don't ping on the radar when shooting. The penultimate section they go on to are some new perks. So next season we'll have some new perks rolling exclusively in the Redacted season, and additionally Iron Banner will be receiving 2 new perks on 2 reprised weapons, and in future seasons these perks will begin to roll out on other weapons as well. So while they don't want to spoil the fun in discovering and testing these new perks, they'll leave the names of the upcoming Iron Banner perks at least, and these are Iron Grip and Iron Gaze, so be sure to look out for those in the up and coming season. And finally, they move on to some archetype changes. So there are some up and coming buffs. So next season, they're taking a quick pass on a few weapon archetypes that have been underperforming. Now, slug shotguns are underused in PvE because they require crits to maximize their damage and didn't reward that precision with higher damage per second. So slug shotguns have seen a PvE damage buff of 30%. High impact pulse rifles are underused in the Crucible, and while they have a very fast optimal time to kill, that time to kill is very hard to achieve. So they've decided to soften that a little bit. So high impact pulses damage per bullet has been changed from 21 to 22, and this changes it from a 6 crit to 5 crit 1 body kill on a Guardian in PvP with the most resilient values applied. In their data, bows are underused in challenging content, and locally they've observed that it feels terrible when a bow leaves a red bar enemy with low health, so bows have seen a PvE damage versus minors of plus 10%. So all in all, some really good changes there, but be sure to let me know your thoughts on those down in the comment section. And lastly, they go on to some future archetype updates. So they've been evaluating feedback and their analytics, and while they're not fully completed on this, they wanted to touch on 3 community pain points that we have at the moment, and their current goal is to touch on these in season 12, but they'll be sure to let us know if any of their plans change. So to quickly touch on these pain points, first of those is sniper rifles. So the community feedback has been that Revoker and Beloved dominate in those areas, and they're looking at analytics and they account for 86% of sniper rifle usage in the Crucible, and if we include other low zoom sniper rifles, that number gets even higher. They're specifically looking at how zoom translate to ease of use with sniper rifles, and we're investigating changes that make choosing a sniper rifle zoom more of an interesting choice. Hand cannons, they're evaluating hand cannon subfamilies. An example, they're breaking out aggressive frame hand cannons to let us tune their range independently of others. Adaptive auto rifles are generally highly represented in Crucible at the moment, but generally feel balanced, and adaptive auto rifles are a little higher, so they're looking at them as well. They're not rolling back the season 10 buff on these, but we're adjusting and tuning a little bit to give other auto rifle subfamilies a similar chance to shine. So all in all, fantastic to see Bungie taking a look at these 3 pain points. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on these 3 down in the comment section. It will be interesting to see what adjustments and retunes they'll make here. And that, guys, is going to wrap up a summary of the TWAB this week. All in all, a mixture of nerfs and buffs to a variety of perks and weapon archetypes across the sandbox. So be sure to sound off down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. If you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always, guys, but I will catch you all again very soon.